I'm Lachlan Fanning here on The Weekend Beat, and it's time to talk with author and psychologist Carlos Camacho about society and how society has gone negative. Welcome to the show, Carlos.
G'day, Lockie. How you going?
I'm very well, thanks, Carlos. Now, last year sometime, I did an experiment where I went down to the shops after I saw this on TV, and I went and tried to give some money away to some strangers. And so I think society has turned a bit negative in the fact that there was just everyone I tried to give the money to, I just couldn't give the money away at all. It was very strange.
Yes, it's interesting, isn't it? I think it's because people find that there must be something else to it. In our society, humans tend to understand that there's no such thing as a free lunch, so to speak. So if someone's giving away this money or something else, what am I expected to do? I think that is really the guts of it for most people. They don't want to be caught out having then to be able to, or having the necessity to have to give something else for what they receive.
And they tend to think that there is some sort of a negative aspect about where the money tend to be coming from. Like they think, oh, what is up here? Where did the money come from? Is it stolen? Is it like there's some sort of caveats on the money?
Yes, that's right. Because obviously we are beings of patterns. So we love patterns. Our brain seeks them out even when they're not there. So what happens is that we walk down the street every day or every week or whenever it is, and certain behavior happens and certain behavior doesn't happen. For someone to be offering us $500 in the hand, that's quite rare. It might not ever happen for somebody. So suddenly the brain goes into this trying to work out what's the deal. So the pattern is that this does not really happen. Now it's happening, therefore I am going to be suspicious.
Speaking of suspicious, I also watched on a crime drama the fact that they had a man and a woman walk into an establishment with prop guns, and it took at different stages, and it took the general public about, on average, 7 seconds longer to assess the woman as a threat. So what's going on there? The male's just perceived to be a threat automatically?
I think it goes back to our ancestry way before we actually even started civilization. We still are part of nature, and therefore we understand that some things just stronger than others. It's the same with an animal if it attacks us. It depends on the size. Sometimes even, of course, a cockroach can cause us fear if we have a phobia, but we tend to align men being a little bit more aggressive because they needed to be in the past in order to hunt and all these type of things and move away north from Africa and search for a better climate. And as we know, we needed to survive and adapt to a new environment. Men played a certain part in that, which was usually with regards to strength and aggression, where women played another part. Not all of them, of course, because this is just generalization. In a civilized society, and rightly so, we are all equal. And so strength should not come into play. But we cannot get away from our primitive thinking.
So just tying that back to the money side of things, is it because I was a man that I was perceived to be some sort of a threat that people wouldn't? Because I went up to various women and men to try and give away some money for free, obviously, and I would have actually given it away. But if I was a woman, or if I got one of my lady friends to try and give the money away, would I have perhaps then had a bit more success as perceived to be less of a threat?
I think the probability would be higher for a female to be able to give away money to either a female or a male. Off the top of my head, I suspect that females would tend to be given a bit more time to approach physical distance, that closeness for one, then listen to what they have to say, because what happens is that most men especially would feel a little bit more comfortable with that, knowing that they could deal with any situation that could arise from that. Now, for a male, it's a bit harder to come across as less aggressive because, as I said, we are still caught up with the form of nature, which is that primitive thinking that males are aligned to certain things, women are aligned to other things. Of course, we have come very far in order to dismantle some of those myths in today's society. But what happens is that our brain still reacts in a way that it would, whether it's in the jungle or out in the city.
Well, it certainly sounds like an experiment for another day, and certainly a chat for another day. If I can get one of my female friends to try and give some money away, it'll certainly be an interesting experiment to try and witness the results of. Well, thanks for chatting to us all things about society today, Carlos Camacho. We've been speaking on the Weekend Beat to Carlos Camacho, author and psychologist. Thanks, Carlos.